After 7 years, I achieved my first seven-figure year. This is exactly how I did it. Even though it's our family car that never gets old. So I wanted to make a video, but I didn't really have time to, just because of end of year reports and things like that. However, I wanted to get a video out. So I wanted to get a video out to kind of showcase some of the stuff that I've learned this year, but I didn't really have time. So don't expect this video to be hyper edited with insane cuts. I'm gonna get right to the point, tell you guys exactly what I changed to make my first multi-seven-figure year. I have a lot of cinematic videos that we've been working on, but this is just one that, number one, I had to realize that I don't sell anything, so all the time spent putting a city video together would just be a lot of wasted time. And truth be told, the only reason why I still do this is to document my own journey, and if you guys learn something from it, great. If not, that's fine. I don't have to do this for views anymore. I don't sell anything. So I'm just gonna get a real raw video for you guys. A few things I want to go over is exactly how much I made. I want to go over what it takes to make $1 million in day trading, what I changed differently, what I learned this year, and the things that I plan on doing in 2026 to make it my first 8-figure year, because it's very doable. Wow, roads are terrible. And I'm shooting this on my way to the gas station to get some Zins. Alrighty, so the first thing I changed, as you guys know, that I actually quit day trading this year. I had a $24,000 year. I traded with around $100,000, just shy of it last year, because I had some investments go bad. So I made 24% by the end of the year, and it was pretty much all the last month. I was borderline break even. I was a small cap trader. I traded penny stocks. I've had good years, but last year was by far its worst, and each year progressively got worse. So at the beginning of this year, I just said I can do a lot more things for $24,000, and I certainly am not teaching people how to make $24,000 a year in day trading. So I really hung my head. I had no direction. You got to understand, I dropped out of pretty much high school and college. I graduated a year early out of high school, went right to college just so I could be away from family and focus 100% on day trading. So I had no other qualifications. So I was really in kind of a bind this year. I had no direction, and I shut down all my education. I used to do masterminds and things of that nature. So the beginning of this year, I quit. I had some money in my bank account left over, not a whole lot, withdrew all my trading accounts. And then the number one biggest thing was I said, well, if I can't day trade anymore, then with the money I have saved up, I'll have an algorithm that can. And so I was actually looking at developing my own system. I got introduced to a company called Flash Research, no affiliation, where essentially you can plug and play, certain small cap trading strategies and see how their statistics would end. So it really got me in the thought process of drawdown, of mechanical based strategies, of things that were essentially so stupid simple but could make me 50 to 100% a year. So I kept testing strategies, and that's when I realized no strategy should you ever really risk more than 3% or more of your overall account, because the risk of ruin is really high. Once you exceed 5% per trade, about 50% chance of blowing your account, and when you risk 7%, you have about a 90% chance of blowing your account before the strategy really takes off. So it really got me into thinking about those numbers. From there, I was able to acquire a series of systems, and I basically took $2,500, as you guys know the story, my last $2,500, made an incubator fund, and raised capital. We raised initially $80,000 for proof of concept, and it worked. And my partner decided to put more money in. It was $250,000. And around this time, it was the first algorithmic trade was actually my son's birthday. It was April 21st. So I had a little direction there. I knew, okay, if I can make 100% a year with 250 grand. I'll make six figures. My partner will make six figures, and I could afford to pay my kids' groceries and my bills. And obviously, I shut down all my companies, so I didn't have any payroll, just my own expenses. And I still had a construction company that was that I owned and I started that was paying me. So I had a chance to kind of take a risk here. And as we got better and better, and as the numbers got better and better, 250,000 became 500, became a million, became almost 2 million at one point. And we were making really good returns. We were doing, at this point, we were at, in June, we had about 1.3 million. That guy's about to go off the road. We had 1.3 million in June. About 300,000 plus of it was from profit. And we got scammed by a broker. Essentially, we got B-booked, and then I told them to A-book our trades. And if you guys don't know the difference between B-book and A-book trading, you can look it up. But essentially, they were in debt to us, 250,000, and I told them from the start I need to be A-booked. They didn't listen to me, and then they essentially scammed me and forced me to lose. At 5 a.m. in the morning, I was getting slippage fills that cost me $100,000. And the only reason why I didn't liquidate my entire account and make them over $1 million was because I caught it at 5 a.m. My business partner and I caught it at 5 a.m. in the morning. So we that was. I do want to be careful saying the name of the broker, just because if they're willing to do that, then who knows what they're willing to do. But I would be very careful with Forex-based brokerages, especially, surprisingly, the big ones. And so now I had to fly to Singapore. This is just a little bit of the work ethic you guys need to make it work. I had to fly all the way to Singapore to meet up with this kind of up-and-coming brokerage. I had to make sure I was A-booked all my trades. We're at the spot. I truly live in the middle of nowhere. But they A-booked my trades, and I was able to meet the owners. At this time, we had around 1.3, 1.4 million. We transferred all the money over, and we started really ripping. One of the biggest things that I did this year was I watched these profitable systems work. I looked at over 1,000 profitable systems, and I saw the most profitable systems and how they traded. And all I had to do was essentially emulate that, and I too just manually could be an extremely profitable trader, very profitable. So the number one biggest thing I did was I switched markets. Number two, I watched how profitable systems traded. I realized my old edge was very small and it was shrinking every year, and my new edge was so powerful that even when I made mistakes in trading, I still could end up with a profit or a small loss. Now, don't get me wrong, we had our mistakes. I lost $360,000 in one night from an algorithm because I had a very short testing period, thought it was good. We acquired it, turns out it was dog crap, and it lost us a lot of money. Cut that system. But I was able to now see what profitable systems traded like. They didn't look for fair value gaps. They didn't look for head and shoulders. There's very mechanical-based systems of imbalance. And I didn't want to get back into day trading because of just the stress it took. But shockingly, my small cap trading background and the education that I learned from our other educator, Pete, the art of imbalance, I watched these systems trade the same way. And I went, wait a minute, I just traded this for 6 years. So maybe the technical analysis is transferable. And to my shock, it was very transferable. And so I was in Singapore, a nightclub, and I was texting my business partner, Jimmy, hey, there's a setup, our algorithms are off, but we have a very high likelihood of making money on this. What are your thoughts on me manually trading it? And I didn't want to, but he said, Jay, you need, not sure, but you need to take this trade. And so I took it. I made $32,500 that night. From that moment on, I said, I will never risk our algorithmic trading profit. I will only risk my day trading profit. 32,000. Next trade was 65,000. So I had 100,000 buffer. Next trade was was I had a couple base hits here and there. The next trade was 100,000, so I had a $250,000 buffer. And before you know it, this was October 1st of this year, or December 31st now, so about 3 months. Before you know it, by November, I had almost $500,000 in booked profit day trading, and I said, Jimmy, we might have something here. And he kept encouraging me to size up, and then I made 200 grand, 150 grand, 180 grand, 100,000. And then by December 29th, that night, I had $973,000 in verified profit, never exceeding a 10% drawdown, which is very hard. Which means I had really good entry conditions. I was barely ever down. I had well-managed risk, and we were really profitable. And at this time, I went well over 100% gain. We had 30 to 40% months in a row with manual trading. And I was at 973,000 last night, 2 nights ago. And I told the guys, we had a meeting December 30th, and said, I don't think I'm going to hit it. Probably isn't going to be a setup. And lo and behold, there was one right after the meeting. I made 25,000. We just made over the $1 million mark. So I made over $1 million in manual trading. I've made almost $2 million in algorithmic trading. So again, top things that changed: markets and watching what a profitable edge actually looked like, changing strategy. So the question of what most people don't understand about making $1 million day trading in a year. Obviously, there's the common, you need to have proper risk management, proper mindset. I don't think there's a winning formula for that. I simply think that it's just screen time and continual trial and error. That built for me over 7 years of being able to have a professional trader risk management. So that came easy to me, which I understand to most people that is the hardest part. But if you're a guy that you feel like you have pretty stout risk management and mindset, but you're still barely profitable, you're not making a lot of money, you have to understand one core concept that most people don't understand. And that boils down to your numbers and your edge. Most edges, have a time where they work and a time where they don't work. If you are learning an edge from an educator, like a coach, most likely that edge is no longer viable. Meaning the strategy you're learning actually isn't a profitable strategy at all, and you could be executing it perfectly. My edge is so profitable that even on my trades that I really scuff and I make great mistakes on, usually I end out on top. And it is so easy for me to be confident enough to put enough size on to make multi-six-figure months, because I know within an 80 to 90% certainty that I'm going to end up profitable in this trade. And unfortunately, more than likely, I won't ever be teaching this strategy. I'll be teaching how to find edges like this one. But the more people that know and the more that abuse it, the less likely they're to be profitable. So what people don't understand is a lot of times their profitability isn't them, it's their strategy. That's what I learned. And my strategy, my old strategy, wasn't profitable. Especially if there's so much discretion in your strategy where you can't have someone write it out in Python and code it, then I would totally stop trading that altogether. So a lot of ICT concepts require a lot of discretion. Elliott wave theory, things of that nature, stay away from. They do not work, and more than likely, I'm not saying ICT concepts don't work, but most discretionary strategies are not going to be profitable in the long run. They need to be completely mechanical. One mistake I made, let's talk about mistakes. A lot of algorithms thinking that because the back test was profitable, that the system would be profitable. That's not true. Back tests could be overfitted. Back tests can give you faulty data. So I lost a lot of money there. I also thought that if it was profitable for short term, I could put a lot of money to it without doing any front end walkthrough testing. I would really encourage you guys to not fall in love with a back test because a back test of numbers and live data could be totally different. Another thing is I didn't really spend any of the money. I've made, close to $3 million this year. And I am completely reinvesting it for the next year. I think a lot of people go out and buy a supercar so they can sell their course or whatever. Obviously, I have this tricked out Escalade, but I 100% financed all of it, and I'm not going to shy away from that. I want to build credit. I put $0 down on this thing. Are you kidding me? I put a shorter loan term on it, but I 100% finance this because I want to build credit. I'm young. And if I can make $10,000 a month with $100,000 in my trading account, I think it's probably best used doing that than buying it on a depreciating asset. Let's talk about where I'm going to go from here. 2026, things I'm going to be doing differently. I have a niche-based entry system. A lot of gurus like to laugh at me, but I would love to compare my numbers with them. They think that I'm like loading the boat and martingaling my way to success, and that's just not true. Dollar cost averaging is so important. The probability of you perfectly nailing an entry with one entry and one exit is a fallacy. It'll almost never happen. You need a dollar cost average. It's so common in the stock background, but when I switched over to commodities and futures, everyone thought I was a psychomaniac. You need a dollar cost average if you want to be profitable. Your edge really relies on that. So you'll be seeing me doing that more. I'll be sizing up a little bit more. I'll be increasing my max risk, like absolute max risk, on like AA plus setups to probably 5% of my account, and that's really pushing it. But most of my strategies will be around 3%. The biggest reason why people are not profitable, aside from their edge, is their position sizing. Everyone thinks you need to go in with extreme size and slam in and slam out and get lucky on one trade. The market is not a lottery. You are a professional trying to dictate what's the probability of the market. You shouldn't be putting in extreme size. Actually, smaller size will make you more profitable. Your exposure, people love to talk about win percentage and R to R, but they rarely ever talk about exposure, and that really is shocking to me. Your exposure is so important. So I'll be trading a lot. I won't be necessarily trading with less size just because my accounts keep growing exponentially. So I need to continue to size up. Yeah, let's just talk about mistakes. A big trading beginner mistake, aside from what I'm going to talk about, position sizing and edge, another one that I think is worth mentioning is goal setting. You might think that a 100 to a 300% gain year is a bad year because you only have $1,000, and if you turn it to $3,000, all of a sudden it's a failed year. What you don't realize is you don't have a percent gain issue. You have a capital issue. Could you imagine how much differently your life would be if you had $500,000 and you made 100% a year, or even 50% a year? Yet you guys are trying to make, you'll have $10,000, try to make 10,000% a year. That's not the reality of trading. If you think that you can make that gain in a year, what's going to happen is you guys are going to be taking out so much risk given your account size, you will blow it almost with full certainty. Well, actually, I'll say it. With the position sizing and the risk you're taking to try to make 10,000% gain in a year, if you continue to do that over the test of time, you will with 100% certainty, and I've back tested thousands of strategies, blow your account. 100%. So you're just delaying the inevitable ticking time bomb. You have a capital issue, not a percent gain issue. You can raise capital. You can't squeeze out more percent gain without incurring more risk. Imagine if you had a partner who had $1 million. You had the strategy, you were the brains, he was a capital partner. He had $1 million, you made 100% gain, or even a 50% gain in the year. You gave him $250,000, you took $250,000 for yourself. 50% gain, almost all of you guys watching this could probably do through basic technical analysis and risk management. All right, now that I'm home, I know this is not the best setup, mic and webcam wise, but it's the best I could do for right now. I've been busy, guys. Um, as I want to go over the numbers on my accounts. These are, I think all my. I think I'm missing one or two accounts, but they're small. Um, it hasn't updated my gain for today. I think I crossed over 2.5 million. And I want to show you some stuff. First of all, I want to show you some funny accounts. The 400% account. This is what I forgot to load a set file onto one of my algorithms, which basically dictates a majority of the settings. And basically, it just went AWOL, and I woke up and I'm like, what the heck? Luckily, it was a test account, and I 4x that account over overnight. That was completely luck. This 99% one. This is a perfect example of where's my 99%. The 99% account, I actually had, I don't know why I can't get it, but I actually made money from it. But that was a test to show if you risk 10% of your account, what would happen. And I was able to take a withdrawal. Like a lot of you guys trade. This is exactly how you guys trade. You do insane risk. You luckily could take a withdrawal you're like playing with matches. If you do it before the bomb goes off, and then it blows the account. That was small size as a test account. Now we'll get into the big accounts. My big thing I want to talk about is a drawdown. The only reason I have huge drawdown on this account, and 25% is still not terrible, is because of this right here. This is when I had an algorithm on my account. This is my manual trading account, but I had an algorithm on this account quite literally lose $360,000 in a single night because of a lot of reasons. One, I didn't have a long enough testing period on it, and two, which we're going to talk about, is daylight savings. I didn't realize majority of the world doesn't follow daylight savings, only the U.S. So one of our systems for trading is time zone oriented, so we don't trade news and don't have the black swans. And because it's shifted the hour, you can see it was around daylight savings or whatever. I think that was a big reason why it missed majorly, but that algorithm was a stupid acquisition, and yeah, that was my biggest mistake of this year was this right here. We don't use that system anymore. It was out of the gates really hot, and I thought it was gonna be a good one. This is my manual trading account. Aside from this, and I think I had a few other algo trades, but you can see on my screenshots, I crossed over $1 million on this between the two accounts on day trading, manual day trading. So I technically made over $1 million manual and about 1.5 algorithmic this year. This should have been over 30% months. So what I'm trying to show you guys is this is a fantastic year. I mean, I started this account in September, and I had a fat freaking loss in this account. Had you guys just focused on smaller percent gains and raising more capital, you would make so much more money. Another thing is, again, our drawdown should be close to like 3%, but because of the time zone issue, that actually made us have a 10% drawdown. We won on a trade, but we should have never taken it. Our drawdown should be around 5 to 3%. It's a really good system. Obviously, we made over $1 million in this account. I do trade using levels. I do know them quite well, the owners of them. Even though they have stupid reviews, you have to understand in the forex space, they can be nasty. There's these websites, like look at this, and I have no affiliation to them. Seriously, I don't ask me for an affiliate code. Um, like WikiFX has them really low. Look at this. Wonder why they're so low? It's because they don't pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this website. I saw it. If they paid $50,000, they would be able to have a 10 out of 10 on this website. So they literally blackmail these people, and it's ridiculous. But brokers that scam me will be like 10 out of 10. So don't trust that crap. But anyway, yeah, this is the you know broker I use on our accounts. Again, these are all live accounts, all real. Uh, about 2.5 million. I'd say basically it's between these two main accounts right here. Majority of the profit, and um, an average, a weighted average percent gain wise between these two accounts should be um, around like 80 to 100% gain. So again, not shooting for the stars. Next year, I have a full year track record. I didn't start this account till I think August. Yeah, August. So I'll have a full year. I think we'll probably do 200%, 150%, and that allows us to keep our drawdown numbers low. Oh yeah, this was the blow up account. See, down 99%, but still made money on it. Ugh, crazy, crazy. I know this was a super bunk video, but I had to get it out just to kind of show my numbers. Don't worry, we have some epic videos along the way teaching you guys exactly how you could turn your last. I seriously had $2,500 in my bank account at one point this year. So I turned my last $2,500 into several million. And I plan on teaching you guys exactly how to do the same thing. This was the most transformational year I've ever had. I changed my life this year. I changed my family's life. I was able to retire my dad. Um, and hopefully this year was a turning point for generations for the Byers family. So I'm really excited for 2026. It's the first time I've ever really been excited for a year. Every year, the last breath of the year, first breath of the new year, I always have just one goal, and that is to make $1 million manual day trading myself in a single year. And I beat that goal with 1 day to spare. I actually did take a trade today. I made $1,300 in the wrong account. I took it in this account. See, yeah, $1,300, 0.06% gain. I was not willing to dip below uh, what I was up 1,006,000, and I'm like, I am not gonna go below that last day of the year. So I achieved my only goal I've ever had in day trading ever. Now I need to actually reassess and make new goals, and I think it's going to be a $10 million year, and to have my first $1 million day because I had multiple six-figure days this year. Like I think over like majority of my profit came from like 10 trades. So yeah, that's it, guys. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.